Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Guys, as I told you that the logarithmic function is very important function in calculus, right? And I already uploaded 2 questions based on logarithmic function, and I give the basic idea of the logarithmic function. Please go to my YouTube channel and please watch that video. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a questions, okay, where you have to find the domain of a logarithmic function. Okay, so the question is, find, this is your question. The question is, find the domain of fx, which is equal to log base 3 5 minus 4x minus x whole square. This is your question, right? Fx is equal to log 3, means log base 3 5 minus 4x minus x square, and you have to find the domain of this given function. So how will you solve this question? So first of all, you have to see the base here. The base is 3. I told you that if the base is greater than 1, you will see the graph will be always like that. Always, right? So this x coordinate, the first point, you can say this is A, right? So the order pair here, it would be always 1, 0. And when the base is 3, for example here, this is 2 and this is 3. So when this one, the whole thing, can say, for example, if you have log 3x, so when x becomes 3, at that time y will be 1, right? So if you say when x is equal to 3, then you can say the y will be 1, the function will be 1. So your order pair will be 3, 1, right? This is the graph of log 3x, okay, when the base is 3. Here you can say this is 3. So if you consider that this point, okay, this is just like a x, okay. So here what is the domain? I told you the domain for the logarithmic function, if the base is 3 and this is x, the x must be greater than 0. Only you have to follow this condition. This is very important condition for the logarithmic function. So if you have x greater than 0, then easily you can find the domain of the given function, right? So I'm going to solve this question. So here we have 5 minus 4x minus x square, 5 minus 4x minus x square, and this value must be greater than 0. Means if this value is greater than 0, then you can say the logarithmic function exists, right? It may be 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what is the maximum value? I don't know. We will solve this question. We can find out the maximum value of this one, right? So if you see, now we have to solve this question and find out the value of x. So here you can say this is a quadratic equation. You can write this one minus x square minus 4x plus 5 greater than 0, right? I have written minus x square here, minus 4x plus 5 greater than 0. And after then, I'm going to make the coefficient of x square is 1. So we have to divide by minus on both sides. Okay, and when you divide by minus, the equation would be x square plus 4x, and this is plus 5, it will be minus 5. Remember one thing in your mind, I already discussed this one in my previous slides, that when you are going to divide by minus, right, the sign of inequality changes. So it would be the less than 0. This is very important. Whenever you have an inequality and you are going to divide by minus, okay, you will see that the sign of inequality changes, right? Okay, so now it becomes quadratic equation. So whenever you have a quadratic equation, you have to factorize this one. So you can say this will be x plus 5 x minus 1. You know how to solve this question. And the zeros you will find here, x plus 5. So you can say this will be minus 5 and this will be 1, right? So you have take this value, the real line, okay, and minus 5 must be here and 1 will be here, right? Now you have to follow the sign, okay? If you take a number here is greater than 1, right? For example, if you take any number which is greater than 1, for example, I take 10. So 10 plus 5, 15, which is positive. 10 minus 1, 9, which is positive. So positive, positive, positive. So you can say this area must be positive, right? This area must be positive. And if you say minus 1 to 1, so minus 5 to 1, there is a number 0. If you put here 0, so 0 plus 5, this is positive. 0 minus 1, which is what? Negative. So positive, negative is always negative. And in the same way, if you can take a number here, minus 10. So minus 10 plus 5, okay? So minus 10 plus 5, it will be what? Minus. And minus 10 minus 1 minus 11. So you can say minus minus plus. Again, you have this positive area. Now, listen. If this value, this one, see, if this value is less than 0, if this value is less than 0, you have to consider this section point only. So you can say when x, you can say when, or you can say when x means x belongs to minus 5 to 1, right? Okay, I'm not going to take 1, right? I'm going to take minus 5 to 1 only. So if you take minus 1 to 1, you will see that this value will be positive. This value will be positive. So whenever you have minus 1 to 1, means a number which is what? Minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, 0, minus 1, 0, okay? And less than 1. If you have a value here, when you put here, you will find greater than 0. And when this is greater than 0, the function exists. So we can say the domain is x belongs to minus 5 to 1. This is your domain, right? Guys, when you have minus 1 to 1, this value is positive, right? Okay, so what is the value of x? Even I don't know. Okay, but this is positive, right? So if you know the differentiation, I didn't explain the differentiation right now. So if you can find out the differentiation, you can find out the critical points, right? Then we can find the maximum point, the maximum critical points, right? And after then I can say that the maximum value goes to where, and then we can check what will be the behavior of this function here. Means for which interval the function has positive value, when the function has the negative value, right? So leave it, I will tell you this one later. Now here the question is find the domain, so you can say this domain is where, right? So if you have your value is between minus 1 to minus 5 to 1, then this will be what? Positive, and then this is positive if x exists, right? So the domain of this function is minus 5 to 1. I hope you guys understand. Inshallah, please watch my next video. I'm going to give you a very interesting question and we will solve the domain of that question. Take care. Bye bye. Assalamu alaikum.